Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Self-Hosted Advantages. Thank you for joining today. Okay, so first of all, let's just go through some introductions. So my name's Sam Connor. I'm Sales Manager here at Interface. We're based in the UK, the US and Hong Kong, and we offer a full range of services to assist you with Bitrix24. So starting off with pre-sale support, so we can help you to essentially understand your requirements, see if Bitrix24 is a good fit for what you're trying to achieve. If it is, we can then help to set up your Bitrix24 system. So we can design it and get it working exactly how you need it to work. Then if you're looking at the self-hosted edition of Bitrix, which is what we're going to focus on today, we can provide our hosting service, and then we provide training and ongoing support for businesses to ensure they get the most possible value out of the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so if you are joining today's webinar because you actually want to get some more information about what Bitrix24 is, let's just go through a little more detail as to what Bitrix24 encompasses. So Bitrix24 is a collaboration suite of well in excess now of 40 different tools that you can use to manage your business. There are over 12 million customers around the world, and the system is available in two different editions. So we have the Bitrix24 Cloud, and then we have the Bitrix24 Self Hosted solution. And we will be focusing today on the self-hosted system and what the advantages are compared to the cloud edition. And when we say self-hosted, I just want to be clear, that doesn't mean you need to host the system on a local server. It is essentially a private cloud edition of Bitrix24. So you could host this on AWS or Google Compute, for example, or as I say, we at Interface, we can provide our hosting service for you. Okay, so there's several different options in terms of hosting this system. And in terms of pricing, so prices start from $49 per month on a cloud system, or on the self-hosted that starts at the Business 50 edition, and that is priced at $3,590 in year one, and then in year two and ongoing annually you will pay a renewal fee of 25% to continue to access your self-hosted system. Okay, so let's now move on to focus on the self-hosted edition of Bitrix24. So what we'll start with is explaining a bit more about the different editions of the Bitrix24 system. So essentially there's two versions of the self-hosted system. So first of all, we have our business edition, and this is the most popular and usually the most suitable solution for most businesses. With this, you get access to all of the modules of the system, including additional modules that you can't get on the cloud edition, such as the help desk system and the e-learning module, and you can brand up the extranet sites as well. And then for the business edition, it starts with the 50 user package and it goes up to 500 users. So it's 50, 100, 250 and 500 user editions. Okay, and at any point you can upgrade to the next tier on the business edition if you need more seats on the system. Okay, and then the second edition is our enterprise edition. So this is the 1000 seat package, and you can then also buy additional 1000 seat bolt-ons as well if you need to add more seats. And the enterprise edition is our most advanced product and allows a company to establish an unlimited number of intranets which can be all managed by a single global administrator. So for example, a company who operates in multiple countries, they may want individual sites with different languages for each company there. So we can then set that up. Each country has their own intranet site, but it would be managed from one global control panel. So that's really powerful functionality that you can get from the enterprise edition of the Bitrix24 system. Okay, so that is a look at the different editions of Bitrix24. And if you have any questions about those editions, please do add them into the question box on the YouTube channel, and we can answer those questions throughout today's webinar. Okay, so moving on now to look at some of the benefits of the self-hosted system. So there are many benefits of the self-hosted system, but I'd say the key one that a lot of businesses start on the self-hosted for or migrate from the cloud to the self-hosted is the ability to customize the system. Okay, so self-hosted solutions are essentially full content management systems which can be customized extensively. So we have branding, for example. So we can include specially designed login pages with your corporate branding and logo on there, so it becomes your own corporate branded solution. That's really important for some businesses who want to invite external clients in via the extranet site. You can have a fully branded solution. Okay. We also have the control panel. So the control panel is the area for administrators to make changes to modules and to the front end of the system. So as I mentioned earlier on, we may have an enterprise customer who has separate intranet sites for each of the businesses in different countries, but you from the control panel, you will be able to manage all of those separate intranets from one global control panel. So if you're currently using the cloud solution, then I think you'll be extremely impressed with the additional functionality available in the control panel on the self-hosted system. And what we'll do later on, we'll take a look at how we can create our own pages inside the control panel. So you'll really start to see the additional functionality that is available through that control panel. You also, by the way, you have full access to the source code. So this means if maybe a customization you want cannot be configured within the control panel, it is usually possible to do this directly in the code. So Bitrix is built with its own framework in PHP. So changing source code, just as a word of warning, it really should only be attempted if you have experience of PHP, as well as a good knowledge of the Bitrix platform itself. Or alternatively, a partner can perform this type of customization. The way we make sure when we build out any customizations, when we upgrade the system, so upgrades need to be maintained on the system, we make sure that our customizations do not break. So it's really important to use a very experienced partner who can build the customizations that you require. Another benefit is the integration capability with the self-hosted system. So an API is available on self-hosted solutions, allows you to integrate with thousands of other applications and also control the integration. So you might want the integration to continue at a certain pace with a certain number of requests at a certain time period. We can manage that through a self-hosted system. And as we briefly mentioned earlier on, you do have extra features. Okay, so with the self-hosted system, you got access to the help desk, e-learning module, and more advanced analytics in the system. Okay, so now what we'll do is take a look at some of those benefits in some more detail. So let's drill down into some of those benefits. So first of all, is that customization capability. So one of the main reasons for choosing a self-hosted option is the ability to customize the look and the feel of your intranet. And that's what so many businesses, they move to the self-hosted system for that particular reason. Okay, and with the self-hosted system, because we've got access to customize the system, we can match your corporate look and the functionality can be configured to make using the system a lot more intuitive. So first of all, styling the system. So many areas can be branded, and we'll have a look actually at that example shortly of a login page that is corporately branded inside the system. We can then edit more areas of the Bitrix24 system with the self-hosted. So any page can be edited, and administrators, they can create custom pages using the page editor wizard. Okay, and we'll take a look at how we can use that page editor wizard later on in today's webinar to create our own pages inside the system. Okay, another type of customization is navigation, and this is one of the biggest areas and ways you can improve your Bitrix24 system compared to the cloud system. So having the left-hand menu where you've got all of the modules of Bitrix, and there are a lot of modules inside Bitrix. What we can do with the self-hosted system is improve the user experience and save time navigating modules. The links in the navigation panel are fully editable, and it's actually possible to display different navigation items for different sets of users. And that is a big reason businesses like to use the self-hosted system, because we can clean up that menu. We can get rid of features and modules that aren't required, and that can be critical to the success of the onboarding of Bitrix. We can keep the UI as clean as you require, but then over time, if you then wanted to maybe add some of those modules back into the system, we could then look to do that over time. Okay, moving on. Customizations to look at now are dashboards. So it's possible to create custom dashboards to display different sets of data on a page. So you might want a sales or projects dashboard. And we can also have customer portals. Okay, so as we mentioned, a customer portal, it is available on the cloud system. But what we see is a very big use of the self-hosted system is the ability to invite your customers or suppliers into the system, but it's fully branded. Okay, so where they're logging in, it's fully branded, and you can then create custom page layouts when they're inside the extranet site. So you've got a lot more capacity to evaluate how you want your external portal to work for your customers, and we can then design that using the customization capability of the self-hosted system. And then finally, all modules are customizable, and it is possible to create your own bespoke modules to perform specific tasks or features for your business. So for example, we built commission modules inside Bitrix24 before. So if you wanted to actually create that functionality to have commission processes built into your CRM system, we have that capability on our self-hosted system to go to that level of customization capability, which you just simply can't do on the cloud edition. Okay, so what we'll do now, before we move on to look at the additional features within the self-hosted system, let's take a look at some of that customization in the actual Bitrix24 system now. So we've mentioned heavily about the ability to rebrand the system, remove the Bitrix branding, have your own corporate look and feel to the system. You can see here, this is a login page to a Bitrix system. So all the Bitrix branding has been removed. And then what we have here is all of that corporate look and feel, and you can have your own domain. So that could be abc.company.com, for example. So you can customize that domain as well. Okay, so moving on into our self-hosted system. So one of the first things you may notice if you have the access rights is the bar at the top here called the control panel. Okay, so we set permissions so not everyone is able to see this, but within here I can then turn on the edit mode. Okay, so we'll just let that refresh. And then what we can start to do inside here is I can now start to modify, for example, I can start to modify menu items inside the system, change the layout, change the terminology of those inside the system. And as we mentioned, what you can do with this menu structure, we can remove modules that aren't required. So that this navigation menu here, if you wanted to have certain user roles, see certain items on that menu, then we have the capability to do that with the self-hosted system. Okay. And so now what we'll take a look at, we've seen how the system looks branded, we've seen how we can turn the edit mode on to customize the UI of the menu here. What we'll do now is let's go into our company area. So right now in this company area, we just have a sitemap to easily let staff navigate to different areas of the Bitrix24 system. But what we want to do here now is we want to add another page into the platform now to update policy information for employees to be able to access. So what we're going to do here is create a page inside the control panel with policy information that we can then display on the front end. So we're going to see here how we can create our very own pages inside the system. So what we'll do now is let's go into our control panel, and then inside the content area we want to go down to the file and folders area, and we want to go into the About section, because that's where we're going to be storing this particular page. And then what we want to do is add a file. Okay, so this is now going to open up the page where we're going to create the information about this page. So let's call this Policies 2024, and then I can take that information . Okay, so we're going to store information there. I'm simply showing this with some text information, but if you wanted to add videos or links or HTML into here, then you have the capability to do so. So let's now apply that page and save the information. So we've created our page there in the system, but now what we want to do is we want to add a menu item within that module so we can link to that page. So for this, what we can do is go into the menu edit, and then this is where we can add our menu item. So let's call this 2024 policies, and then we can add our information into the system. Okay, so that's now been linked into our page, so let's now apply that and save that information. And then if we go to the front end of our system, so we're back now in the company module, we're on the sitemap, and then we've got the menu now displaying for the 2024 policies page, and we can see that information is now displayed about our policies. So this is a simple demonstration here to show you the capability of how we can create content from the control panel and display this information inside the Bitrix24 system. But you can start to understand that level of customization you've got here compared to the Cloud Edition. And then what I could do with this information here, again, let's go back into the control panel. What we may want to do is if we go back into the menu edit and go into the advanced mode, what we could do in here is we could, for this policies page that we've just set up, we might put actually a condition in here so it's only for specific user groups. So actually I might say this page can only be accessible for staff who are inside the HR department, for example. So if you wanted to start putting permissions on the information that you're inputting into the Bitrix24 system, again, inside the control panel here in Bitrix, you have the capability to do that. So the control panel, I know we're mentioning it a lot in today's webinar, but simply because it has so much more control and customization capabilities that you can then use on your Bitrix24 system. Okay, so that is a look there at how we can create our own content pages on Bitrix24. Okay, some of the other areas we mentioned about customizing. So we mentioned the menu, we've added our policies page, and of course you've got the extranet side. So as we have mentioned, both the Cloud and the Self-Hosted Edition have the capability here to have an external portal for managing your clients, or it could be third parties such as suppliers. You can bring them into your portal. Now, what you get though with the self-hosted system, again, on the extranet site, you could have that branded. Okay, so this is the extranet site where we can then log in to the system, and then that would log us into our external portal. So having that branded, that can be really important for certain businesses, that you have that information branded, so you have that corporate look to the system. And what we can then do is we can customize the UI. Okay, so as with the Cloud system, you're not able to customize the UI on the extranet, but on the self-hosted, we've got some widgets here to link them to certain areas of the system. They can see the projects that they are associated with, and we could then add additional pages here as well, like we've just seen that we've created, that we might display certain information. So you can really customize this extranet site on the self-hosted system. Project that we've done recently for an accountancy firm. They have their clients log in to the Bitrix system, and then the clients then upload their documents associated with their, let's say, tax return, for example, and that's all managed through the extranet site. So we've stripped out all of the functionality. They just have access to the drive area to upload documents, and those are then spread to the internal staff who can then work on the client's applications within that accountancy firm. So the extranet site we can really customize quite heavily with the Bitrix24 self-hosted system. And as we can see here, the coloring as well. So again, the domain, it'd be your own domain, so abc.portal.com, and then we'd link to the extranet sites. Okay, so that's a really valuable piece of functionality you have with the self-hosted system. Okay, so let's just see if we've had any questions come in. Okay, so a question here is, how can I get the multiple division feature of the self-hosted? So if you're wanting the multiple division feature, I'm just going to move over to the on-premise editions here. You need to have the enterprise edition here. Okay, so this is the feature that allows you to have multiple divisions inside the system. So if we come into here, looking at the options, so here this is the business edition, and here we have the enterprise edition. You're looking for this feature here, the multiple division feature that you have access to on the enterprise edition. So if you'd like a demonstration of that feature and want to see it in some more depth, we can set up a demonstration and walk you through the options. Okay, so that's a good question. If there are any other questions, please do add them into the question box. So what we've seen so far is the ability to customize the system, but all the features that are available on the professional cloud and enterprise cloud, they're all available as well on the self-hosted edition. But then you also have access to a number of extra features on the self-hosted platform. So first of all, you have access to a help desk, and the help desk is a tool that allows you to manage your customer support inquiries. So customers can log their inquiries on the portal, and then help desk staff can process the tickets according to predefined rules. And so what we'll do is we'll take a look at the help desk system in a moment. There's also an e-learning module. So this is a set of tools which essentially assists in the training of employees. So courses can be created, and staff members can then be set tests to demonstrate their knowledge in a particular subject area. And it is possible to create and configure a user's profile page actually to show completed tests as badges within their profile area. And then you also have advanced analytics. So it's essential to understanding the success of an intranet project to have good analytics. So within the self-hosted system, we can create custom dashboards to provide comprehensive analytics in the system. So let's now take a look at some of those features in more detail. So let's go back into our self-hosted system, and we're going to go into the control panel here. And what we'll do is if we go into our settings area and then into here, this is where we can see some of the modules available in Bitrix, and then you also have the services area here as well. And within here, you've got the help desk module. Okay, so inside here, customers can upload their support requests into the system. And the way this is generating tickets, first of all, is through email submission. So you can integrate your mailboxes into Bitrix. So here we've got the ability, as you can see on the left-hand side, to integrate mailboxes. And you can then set up rules on those mailboxes. So if an email comes into, say, a support at mailbox, that could then automatically generate a ticket inside the Bitrix24 system. But we can put rules as well in place to make sure only specific people are able to submit tickets. So only if you're from a certain mail address, so you're paying for support, could you submit a ticket into the system. Okay. And another way to create tickets is through the external portal feature. So inside here, what we have the capability, we could give access to allow the client to come into their portal, and then through here they could create a new ticket inside the system as well. So Again, another way is by having that predefined process inside the client portal, or you can also create a ticket through the support wizard. So actually you might want the client to go through a series of questions and choose the relevant answer and response to channel the information before the request can go through. And then all of those tickets are then managed through the centralized help desk system here. This is in the back end of the Bitrix24 system. So you'd see all of the tickets here, and you'll be able to click into those tickets and see all of the communication log that has taken place on those tickets. And you can then reply to the ticket through the system here. We've also got support levels. So if you want to set different SLA priorities, so when the tickets need to be responded to, you could set those support levels inside the system here and set the type of category of the ticket. Okay, but as I mentioned, this is in the back end of the Bitrix24 system. We do get a lot of customers who want to have the help desk on the front end essentially. So what we have available on the self-hosted edition is a help desk system on the front end of Bitrix24. So inside here, again, you can submit tickets in 3 ways. So through email submission, web form submission, and manual entry by the support staff. Okay, and through here, then you can set up the stages that you progress your tickets through. And again, within here, you can use automations. So as you're progressing the ticket through the system, so let's say as soon as the ticket comes in, we're going to send out an email acknowledging the request. We're then going to allocate it to a support agent. That may be a round robin process, or you might have certain conditions on there. And then we can set the tasks for the responsible person to manage the ticket. And inside the ticket, you've got a ticket page. So inside here, you can see all the information about the ticket, and you can see the history as well. So any internal comments or notes, you'll see inside the platform here. And what's really nice with our help desk module here is if we then go into the CRM system, and let's go into the customer's record. Then inside each of the client's record, what you'll be able to see is, if we go into our system here, I'm going to bring this up, is the help desk area. So all of your tickets connected to your customers, you'll be able to see through the system here, inside the CRM, inside the client's record. So this is really useful, let's say for account management teams. If you're about to have a meeting with your customer, it's really important to know what support tickets that they have registered in the recent past. So you could see all that information through here as well. So you've got that complete connection between the help desk system and the CRM system to have that true picture of all of the tickets across the system. Okay. And one of the piece of functionality to show you in today's webinar we mentioned about is the e-learning module. Okay, so inside here, what you can do is you can set up courses. So you can add all of the information about the course. So here, for example, we've got a health and safety course that we've added into the system. And then what staff can then do, or it could be maybe your external clients, if you want them to be allocated courses, they can then take those courses through the platform here. So here we've got a health and safety course, got a video to watch and some information to look at. And then I can go and complete my test inside the system. So I need to answer all of the questions. Okay, and then I can see what my results are, and we can set a minimum threshold for the score that needs to be achieved before you can pass the test. Okay, so you can start to see here through the self-hosted system, there is an awful lot of functionality available that you simply aren't able to access on the cloud edition of Bitrix24. So I hope you're really seeing that additional value that you can get through the self-hosted system. Okay, so that is a look at some of the additional functionality. And as I say, in terms of the help desk system, if you're wanting to have that on the front end of Bitrix24, we have a solution for that that's available on the self-hosted system, which we've just looked at. So it connects the help desk module with the CRM system. Okay, so let's look at some of the additional functionality that's available with the self-hosted system. And then we also have additional integration capability as well with the self-hosted system. So if you wanted to integrate maybe with another platform and trigger a process, we can use the API available on the self-hosted system to do that. As you can with the cloud, you could integrate web forms and generate leads from inquiries, but then we could then trigger a process that maybe sends information to an external platform. So you can then take that workflow really to that next level of customization capability. In terms of email integration, so I've already mentioned how we can create additional rules on the self-hosted system. So integrating your mailboxes, you can then generate help desk tickets inside the help desk module, which you simply can't do on the cloud. And you could also generate tasks, for example, inside a work group. And as we mentioned, we've got the API capability. So with the self-hosted system, we can build out really any type of integration with other applications, and you can control that integration. So how often should that connection continue each day, for example? You have greater ability to control the integration with the self-hosted system. Okay, so moving on to look at the hosting options available with the system. So as we have mentioned, with the self-hosted system, it doesn't mean that the system needs to be hosted on a local server. You have many choices when it comes to hosting the self-hosted Bitrix24 system. So first of all, you have a choice to either host it in-house or use a partner's hosting service. So for self-hosting, what we can do is we can provide a virtual appliance, which is a free application that allows Bitrix to run in a pre-configured and fully secured virtual environment. And this saves time on product installation and maintenance, and it also improves the overall system performance. But alternatively, Bitrix can be hosted and managed by a partner such as ourselves, and this is what we class as a dedicated cloud solution. And there are many benefits to partner hosting. Okay, so first of all, there is server performance, which is managed by the partner. Okay, so if you are wanting to buy a self-hosted system but you don't have the IT infrastructure internally, letting a partner like ourselves manage the performance and the spec of your server will free up so much time for your staff and ensure the system is set up correctly. And we can make sure the system is optimized for speed. And with partners like ourselves, we can ensure your data is securely backed up. We manage the hosting for hundreds of our clients, so we're incredibly experienced in managing the servers and backup of our client systems. I think probably one of the most important aspects of partner hosting is that projects can be scaled without investing in future hardware. We can increase the spec or the speed of your infrastructure without you having to purchase, say, a brand new server, for example, or additional hardware on your side, which would be more expensive. So having a partner host has an awful lot of benefits. So if you are thinking of self-hosting, we can have a conversation with you to discuss those options with you in more detail. But essentially, a partner's hosting is essentially a managed service, so that will save you a lot of time and provide peace of mind for you. We'll go through some costs shortly, but the cost for hosting is approximately around $2,500 per annum. Okay, so here we can take a look at the pricing. So we're looking at pricing here based on the Business 50 edition of Bitrix24 Self Hosted. So that starts at $3,590 in year one, and then in year two and ongoing annually, you will pay a renewal fee to continue to access the system, and that will be $897.50 on the self-hosted system. But if we just go back into our page here is the pricing for the different editions. Okay, so going up to the 500 Business Edition, that's $17,990. If you're interested in the Enterprise Edition, it starts at the Enterprise 1000. That's there at $24,990. With this edition of the Enterprise, though, you can also buy additional 1,000 seat bolt-ons if you need to add additional capacity to your Enterprise Edition of Bitrix24. Okay, so we mentioned as well around partner hosting as well. So if you're looking for a partner to host for 12 months, it can vary based on the spec of the server that you require, but you're looking starting off from anywhere around $2,250. And you also need to budget for additional aspects of your project, such as customizations, integrations, and we really wouldn't recommend taking a self-hosted system if you didn't have training and premium support in place. That is absolutely critical to getting value out of the system. Okay, so if you all of the expense you put into the license, the hosting, the work to build out the system, you need to have support in place, because the self-hosted system, it's an incredibly complex system. So that dedicated support we can provide will ensure you get a platform that works from day one for you, and you can then start to get huge value out of the application. Okay, so in summary today, we have seen how completely customizable the Bitrix24 self-hosted system is. You can customize the branded login page, the UI in the menu, and then add additional content such as pages to your system. We can build out integrations such as by mailboxes to create help desk tickets, or integrate with external systems to feed or post information through Bitrix, and you'll also have additional features, okay, available on the self-hosted system, such as a help desk, the e-learning module. But also, when I say extra features, the ability to have that customized feel to the system, that's almost a feature in itself. So there's many benefits to the self-hosted system. Okay, so thank you very much for joining today. Here are a selection of our up and coming webinars. You can visit interface.com/webinars to register. We're here every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully you'll be able to join us on our up and coming webinars in the future. Thank you very much for your time today. Bye for now.